Hi guys, I wanted to make this video so I have a video on my channel that answers some of the questions that I've been asked, and also where I have everything that I want to say in order, because my last video I just did off the hop, and I just want to make sure that it's really clear because I wasn't sure that my other one really was. So anyway, a lot of the question that I get asked a lot is, am I still well? And obviously the title of this video, do I recommend the Lightening Process 6 years on? So let's go at it. Am I still well? Yes. The answer is yes, I am still well. I still use the Lightening Process a lot. I use it for lots of different things, and it's very, very powerful. It works, and for me, it's a huge part of my life. And I also want to point out, I know that the Lightening Process has some bad press, and it's for the same reason that I didn't want to do it in the first place, and that is that people assume because you're using your mind to recover from these chronic conditions, that somehow indicates that these chronic conditions are in your mind. And I can't stress enough, that is not the point. That is not what the Lightening Process is. That's not what any of the brain retraining programs. The Lightening Process also is not the only one. There are lots of different brain retraining programs that work for these chronic conditions, for fibromyalgia, for ME, for OCD, depression, eating disorders, anxiety, PTSD, all these different conditions. I'll come back to the PTSD a little bit later, but it's not the only one. It's the only one I have experience of, but even the creator of the Lightening Process, Phil Parker, has openly said before, there's other programs that do it. For me, I found, and I have done research on the other programs, obviously, when I wasn't well, and since then, for me, this one is extremely powerful. It's very precise, it works for me, and I did it, and I found it incredible. So, am I still well? Yes, I am still well. After doing the training, I took a couple of years out. Then I trained to be a teacher. I qualified. I went into teaching for 2 years, and that bringing me up to this point now. So yeah, I'm still well. I'm actually, because I have turned 30 this year, I've been getting into the gym. So that's been a huge part of my life. I go to the gym, at least twice a week. Weight training, and I also like running as well, so I'm constantly exercising, not to an excessive amount, just to an amount that keeps me fit and healthy. I'm not obsessive with it. I still eat pizza and all that kind of stuff. I don't count calories or anything or do it every day. I walk every day, but yeah, it's just a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so who did I do the Lightening Process with? I did my Lightening Process training with Helen James in Bury in the north of England. I would highly recommend Helen. For me, she was just amazing. She's down to earth, she's cool, she believes in you. I'm not actually sure what the protocol is, but you get support way after you've done the training. The Lightening Process, of course, is a 3-day course. And I know that there is a monetary element to the course, and unfortunately, that's the way the world is at the moment. It's sad. If it could, for me, it would be on the NHS. Obviously, we're not at that point yet. We're only just coming into understanding, the issues with our autonomic nervous system, and what that can do to the body, and the dysregulation, and how chronic conditions, we can get stuck in them, and our body gets stuck in a state of stress. I'm not a doctor. Do your own research, but yeah, I did it with Helen James, and I would highly recommend her. I would also recommend doing it in person. I know people are doing it online. I know I've heard that it works. I'm sure it does. For me, even though I was severely unwell, and I went to the course, with my wheelchair, managed to walk inside, because it was just such a close distance from the driveway to the house. I was able to walk about 10 feet or whatever. It was very difficult, but I managed it. I would recommend the in-person training. I think seeing somebody face to face is, it's amazing. If you can't do that, you're in a different country, do it online. You know, it does work. You do get the same support. But if you can do it in person, that's what I'll advocate for, because that's what I did, if you know what I mean. So that's where I'm coming from. In terms of the lightning process and whether you should do it, so I get asked this as well. If you are not willing to put in the work for the lightning process, and there is a lot of work that goes into it, and you're not willing to change the way you think or your lifestyle, the way you approach things, the way you process information, the reactions you have to things that go on in your life, unless you're willing to put in the work, it's not for you. So I hear people say, oh, the lightning process is a scam. This I just find infuriating, because it's not the only program, and it's I don't know, I try and be compassionate, but I just think that's a ridiculous statement. Maybe it's because you have to pay money to do it. I don't know. I don't really know what that is, but it is infuriating. And I noticed that as soon as I put the lightning process in the title, you don't get many, but I do get some people who are like, oh yeah, the lightning process is a scam. And it's really sad. It is sad, because I experienced that as well when I wanted to do it, and I spent 3.5 years, you know, practically bedridden. And if I'd have just been able to have somebody that I trusted say, listen, that really works, it really works, do it. I hope I can be that person for you. And that's where my role ends. I'm not affiliated with it, I'm not associated with it, but it really does cheese me off that people say that it's a scam, because that's stopping people from getting better at the end of the day. And science is really moving into this new age of really understanding the power of the mind. That does not mean that the illness exists in your mind. It means that we have a healing ability. We can turn off the stress responses in the body, and when you can reach homeostasis, which you can achieve very quickly with these practices, your body heals. It's amazing. I'm not a doctor. I would highly recommend doing your research. Yeah, let's move on. So, do I recommend it for the money? Yes, I understand that the money element is tricky. Mine was, I think, £700. But for me, I would have sold my anything because what is a life in bed? You know what I mean? These practitioners are licensed hypnotherapists, licensed life coaches, they're trained in trauma. They have to be therapists before they can even be a lightning process practitioner, and they have to make a living. They do the course for 3 days. They offer support after the course, and it's so worth it. And I understand, especially in this climate, it's a lot of money. It really is. But for me, and I take it very seriously, what I recommend to people and what they do with their money. I'm a big believer in karma. I'm very, very spiritual. I think what you give out comes back. I would never recommend something if I didn't 100% believe that it can make a difference in your life. And I really, really do. And I would also recommend that you take somebody that's very open-minded and that you trust on the course with you. Because I took my mum, and she'd been through the whole thing with me, my whole journey, and she was such a good point of contact, because even afterwards, if I was like doing a bit of struggle with something and I still feel like I'm not getting this right, she would remind me of things that we'd learned, or we'll get onto your coach, don't be despondent. And you know, because there's an element of perfectionism in it, you want it now, you want to be well now. And even though you see so much change, it's like, you know, you have to take the training on board, and you're focusing on the positives and rewiring your brain, doing the techniques. And it's really good to have somebody there who's in your life to be like, oh, well, are you still doing it like this? Are you still? And you're like, oh, you know what? No, my limiting beliefs, I've dropped my limiting beliefs. I need to work on that. So you can do your lightning process for that. You know, pick yourself up. That's really helpful. If you don't have that person, you can do it yourself. I completely believe in you. You can always comment on my video. I'll help you any way I can. But you've got your coach as well, and you can contact your coach, and they will help you through any blind spots or anything like that. So yeah, if you can take somebody with you, do it. Was it the only thing that contributed to my recovery? Okay, this is a very difficult question. I recovered physically to 95%, I'd say, with the lightning process. Physically, still doing a little bit of discomfort, and my story is very specific, but I was on medication and it took me a couple of years after doing the lightning process to get off them, because I've been on them for 12 years and they were extremely addictive. And if anybody with chronic conditions, I'm sure you know, you get put on antidepressants for pain. I was on a very strong antidepressant, on a very strong neuropathic painkiller, and it took me a while to wean off them. Then for me, when I come off them and I realised, you know, how I felt and the things I needed to address, there was some trauma elements for me. I had to work on trauma from the past. So this is something that occurs with people with chronic illness. Some people have trauma that they need to work on. And all the Lightning Process practitioners are trained in trauma. For me, I did some EMDR and I went to see a trauma therapist, because for me, some of my coping strategies and this feeling of not feeling safe in my body went back to my childhood. So I had to go and address that. So I had to have trauma therapy as well as the Lightning Process to really take me to that next level that I wasn't experiencing, you know, the anxiety and all the things like that. Does the Lightning Process help with the anxiety and regulating your nervous system? Absolutely. But if there's something embedded, you know, in the brain, not to get into the PTSD stuff too much, but that needs addressing. So that was my story. After the course, some people ask me about support or whatever, what happens after. I'm not entirely sure, as obviously I'm not a practitioner and I don't really keep in touch with what's going on with the Lightning Process too much, because, you know, I'm living my life. But you get lots of different support after the course, so you check in with your practitioner. You can also call them and text them or message them. I had support for like 2 years after my course, and then it got to a point where I was like, oh, you know, I want to deal with this, can I come and see you? So I did. Went and had a bit of hypnotherapy. Obviously these were related to other stuff, this trauma element that I had to work on. So anyway, I did a bit of that. But in terms of Lightning Process support, there's so much out there. There's also the post-course downloads, which are so helpful. The one that I would say was completely life-changing for me was the Stuck download. I know a lot of people use it on the forum. It's amazing because it addresses your limiting beliefs and how to change your limiting beliefs, which for me was huge. Yeah, I feel like I've crammed a lot in. I feel like I've got a lot to say, and also, you know, when you read comments about it's a scam or something like that, I feel like I need to get on and I need to speak about it. So that's the energy I've come with today. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Some of the things I do as an add-on to my Lightning Process is I practice meditation. It's not one form of meditation, that didn't work for me. I use lots of different meditations, YouTube videos. I also do my somatic meditation, which is part of my trauma therapy and reconnecting with the body. So that's a great one to do. You can have a look on YouTube for that, or I can do a video if that's something somebody's interested in. I do the meditation, and then, yeah, I eat healthy. I think because of what I've been through, I take it very seriously, but I don't have any eliminations in my diet. I eat anything I want, but I do try to maintain a healthy lifestyle, and staying fit and healthy is obviously so important to me because it was taken away from me for so long. Yeah, do I recommend it? Absolutely. And it's so empowering to feel like you're the leader in your own recovery. You're the person who healed you. You weren't given a pill. And also to learn that you're not broken, that your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, because it's stuck. It's actually trying to help you in its own way. It's trying to stop you from, you know, carrying on, but it's just got stuck in a response, and that you can change it. It's really powerful. My comments are open with any questions. Please don't leave hate comments about the Lightning Process. I also don't understand why you would research the Lightning Process on YouTube and then comment a negative comment on somebody's video who recovered from it after everything they've been through. I've noticed this on other people's videos as well. Like, seriously, if you don't believe in the Lightning Process, go somewhere else. Go find a different recovery. I'm not affiliated with it in any way. I'm just telling my story. Don't come on my video and start making negative comments. How ridiculous is that? Just insane. So yeah, that's my story. That's my recommendation. And I shouldn't have read comments before this, some of the comments before this video. Most people have been so lovely, and I just want to thank everybody, especially on my other video, that were like, I'm so glad you're well and how amazing to be healthy again. Like, honestly, I look at them, I read them with like my partner, my mum, and I just cry, because it's incredible. Some people have said, like, my daughter did the Lightening Process. She was a dancer, and then, you know, she was in a wheelchair. You can read them for yourself, and the Lightening Process was the only thing that worked. It's incredible. There are so many amazing people, and they really do outshine the negative comments. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and please look into it. The books are also amazing as well, if you want to have a look at the books. But there's a lot of things you can look at on YouTube to do with the Lightening Process, or even Facebook. So thanks for listening, and I'm sending all my love. Bye guys.